Welcome back to working on the old Forte Chevrolet. Let's see what we can tear up and do wrong this week. If you recall last week, we finished up the steering, sort of. Not really. It ain't quite right. I got some ideas of how I'm going to fix this. I haven't decided on the specific idea just yet, so we're going to put that on the back burner. What we're going to do right now, we're going to start working on this firewall and get this cleaned up, painted all up in here. But before we can do that, I need to pull the motor. Before we do that, I want to put my accessories on and make sure they're not going to hit my inner fender, which, that's just alternator and power steering pump. So let's do that. I got me some brackets. Here's alternator brackets. I think power steering pump brackets are in here. I got a couple of power steering pumps here. Where's my alternator? I don't know. I had it a minute ago. Anyway, it's floating around here somewhere. Let's put all that on and make sure it's not going to hit the inner fender. Before I put the accessories on, I got an 8-inch balancer and a new crank pulley. And I bought a new water pump pulley. I really don't know why. We might change it out too because it's pretty and new. This one here is old and rusty. But I got to pull this off. Let's put the other balancer on and that new pulley. And then we'll go to putting our accessories on. Let's get this here fan on firstly. That's some pretty stainless bolts. I don't know where they came from. Get out of here. Get out of here. Now I gotta get my puller. No, wait a minute. How did I get that off last time? Because the puller, there's no threaded holes on this one. I guess I'll get a pry bar. Let's see what that does. Come on off there easy, buddy. Don't let me have to fight you. Well, he ain't wanting to cooperate. How the devil am I supposed to hold all that and tighten this up at the same dead blame time? I must use a socket on this. Let me try that. Oh, this is going to anger me right here just a minute. I'm telling you. I hate a 3-jaw puller with a passion. It's a necessary evil. All right. You sorry son of a gun. I need 3 hands, 4 hands. Yep. Ta-da! I got to remove this tab, so let's just do this right here. All right, now that that is removed, let's get this here balancer on. I do have an installer. I'm not going to beat it on with a hammer. Let's just use this installer. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing on here. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. All right, I think that's it, right? Right about there. Let me get this puller off of here, or this installer. I'll tell y'all what, fellas. I still ain't nowhere near 100%. I'm having to sleep a lot more than normal. I usually get 5-6 hours sleep a night. Been doing it for years. Now it's 7 or 8. And then I gotta stop in the middle of the day sometimes to take me a nap. I'm just so dead blame tired. Fool me on this COVID. I'll be glad when I get back to 100%. Motivation is like the bottom of the barrel. Yes, sir, it sure is. That ain't good in my line of work either. Anyway, let me put, I got to find some bolts for that pulley. We'll get it put on, get this fan and pulley put back on up here. Might leave the fan off just because it's in the way. Anyway, let's get this accessories on there. I stole these bolts off of the 327 that was in Dude. I think they'll work. Oh yeah. Let me get this put on real quick like. Let's go ahead and put our new pulley on. Sure, it'll look better. You want to hear something interesting? These pulleys hit. So what in the devil? This is very interesting. They're the same size they're old in the new. So, I did a lot of studying on pulleys here lately. I've learned a lot about accessories and pulleys and whatnot for small block Chevrolet, but apparently I didn't learn anything about this. Let me go measure the pulley on Dude and see what size it is. Well, I can't measure across because of that blower pulley that's on, but my best guess is this is 7 inches on Dude. This one is 7 1/4. The water pump pulley is 7 inches also. They're really close, so I think this one here is just too big. We can still put these on, make sure our interferer ain't gonna hit. So let me get the power steering pump on firstly, then we'll do the alternator. Here is my power steering brackets. You remember Lockjaw? We tried to put power steering on it. Well, it's basically the same brackets. I have done a lot of studying on power steering, on pulleys, on short water pump, long water pump stuff. And what I have figured out, the pumps may look different, like this one here compared to this one here. This is an older one, back from the 60s. They look different, but the mounting holes, right here, there's one right there, they're exactly the same as far as the way they mount. Pulley size is different, as you can tell. This one's a lot smaller than these two. And then of course, you know, your ports, you know, that's the pressure and that's return. They may be in a different location. And then later on, they went from a flare to a O-ring metric. And anyway, the mounting part, it should be the same. What determines if it fits a short water pump or a long water pump, all depends on the brackets when it comes to power steering. Anyway, let's get this put on. Hopefully it's going to line up better than Lockjaw did. And then we'll get the alternator on after that. This kit here came with some instructions and a little diagram of how it goes. It talks about a high and low position. If you want it in a high position, you just flip in brackets over. I have no idea which way this needs to go. We're going to try it in the low position first. Maybe it'll work. If it don't, well, we'll have to back up and try something else. All right, let's try this here and see if it fits or not. Goes on there just like that right there. You get these two nuts on here. Then you gotta pull this here bottom water pump bolt out. And that's where this adjusting bracket goes. I'm not sure. Let's see. If it goes like this here, there's a good chance it does. Let me try that real quick like. And they tell you to use that washer right there. I don't know why, but that's what they tell you to do. That bolt may be too long. Let me tighten these two up right here, and then we'll go from there. Now, let's check this out right here. Oh, I gotta put another stud right here. Let me go find it real quick. Stud like me. And that'll go like that, and you got a nut that goes right here. And I can already tell you, it does not line up. I don't understand. I really and truly do not understand any of this. Well, you know, I told you I did a lot of studying on brackets and pulleys and power steering and whatnot. Thought I had it figured out. No, sir, I ain't got nothing figured out. Let me get y'all lined up. About right there. It's It's 3/4 of a pulley groove off. It sure is. I ain't got a clue. This is exactly what we ran into with lockjaw. Evidently, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me do some more studying on this, see if I can't figure it out. I just remembered that I bought this power steering pump after we got done fooling with lockjaw. And just eyeballing it, it looks like offset. Maybe a little further in. So, let me change these pulleys out. Maybe that'll solve this problem. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. Let's compare them. Yeah, there is a difference in the offset. I believe that might fix it. Oh yeah, let's try her and see what she does. This is going to take a minute right here. So, once I get done with this, I shall return. All right, I think that's it. Let's see if she lines up. I want y'all to look at that right there. Oh yeah, right about here is where they line up. That's awesome. So apparently it's not just brackets, it's also pulleys too that determine, you know, long or short water pump fitment. Let me go ahead and tighten all these bolts up, see where we're at, and then we'll get the alternator put on. Here is my alternator brackets. Best I can tell, this mounts to the header, just like that. And then I think that mounts like that. And of course, you got your adjuster that I just dropped on the floor. Let me see if I can find some bolts and get this mounted to the header area. And hopefully that's going to fit. I believe she goes like that right there around them two bolts. Like that right there. I'm just going to tighten up that one right now because we're just test fitting. This will go here. If I ain't mistaken. I don't have the right size bolts. This is just what I got right here. It'll do for now, just testing it out. Now this adjuster goes up here in this top water pump hole. Just like that right there. Now let's get the alternator on there. Alternator will go here. I need a spacer down here. Oh, wait a minute, this ain't right. No, sir. I believe I need to flip that bracket. Let me do that real quick, see if it works better. If it goes out here, then I'm pretty sure we're going to be hitting that inner fender. We may have to do something a little different. Let's just get it on there and see what it looks like. Let's see if that looks any better. Yeah, I do believe that's how she goes. I got to have a little spacer here. Might just use wishers for that. But yeah, I can tell you right now that is most likely going to hit the inner fender. Let me get this all bolted up and we'll just see what it does. I got the alternator all the way in. It'll go. Pretty sure that's not going to work. I believe it's going to hit the inner fender. There it is right there. Let me stick it up there and see what we got. I'm not real sure how this goes. The only thing on the bottom is this slotted hole. I think it goes right here where the bolt broke out. So I'm going to put it there. And then I know it went on this side of this bracket here because that's what the radiator was mounted to. If it goes something like this, that might work. Tell you what we might can do. This Z bracket, bend the whole thing out of the way. See what that does right there. Oh crap, oh crap. Well, that's got that out of whack now, some kind of way. That got us a little bit further in, but this arc here is off now because I bent that bracket. It's hitting right here. Might have to grind a little bit off of that, but let me put that inner fender back up here and see what it looks like. Well, I got the radiator support and the inner fender sort of mocked up, clamped in place where they go. We're really close. Yes, sir. There ain't a whole lot of room. But if push comes to shove, well, like I told y'all, it's hitting right here on this bracket. We can come in some more with the alternator. If I clearance this, it'll bring this in, use a shorter belt, and I think it'll be okay. If not, I believe I can finagle this. I can probably bend that in a little bit more too. I think we can make it work. I think it'll be okay. Push comes to shove, I'll cut a darn hole in the inner fender. I don't care. Anyways, I believe that's going to be okay. And of course, the power steering It's fine and dandy, best I can tell. It's gonna hit the frame before it hits this. I think it'll be okay too. Let me get this stuff out of the way. I reckon we'll pull that motor out. Well, I worked on it just a little bit more, and I got a little more clearance right here. What I did was I ground some off the bottom of this because it was in a bind, because I bent that bracket there. It was on a different arc. Anyway, did that, made that fit. Took alternator off, and this Z bracket down here, I put the old croissant wrench on it, bent her over as far as she can go. You can see we're almost touching the valve cover now. We got a little more room. I think that'll probably work. Might have to finesse it a little bit more. If that don't work, well, we'll do something else. Anyway, I was gonna pull the motor out tonight. I'm telling you, fellas, this ain't much in me right now. It sure ain't. I think I'm gonna go in the house and rest, eat me a little something. Tomorrow we'll pull that motor out. We'll go to working on that firewall. Let me show y'all something before I go in the house. Watch this side of the tire. If it's got bump steer, it'll do this right here. It's basically steering itself. Now it's gonna do this here, go in and out at the top. Ain't nothing you can do about that. But watch that edge when I jump up down on suspension. See how straight she stays. She ain't moving at all, is she? That's pretty doggone awesome. Tis the next day. I done got it ready to pull. Got the hoist hooked up to it. I was looking at this steering shaft right here, and it's gonna be close whether it hits it or not. Let's just jack on it and see what it does. All right, let's go to jacking on it. See what she's gonna do. I don't know that I got my chain in the right position, and I had to jack the front end of the car up. The hoist wouldn't go under it. So that's good. Let's see if it'll come out. Oh, look at here. She's coming out. I hear stuff hitting and banging, but she's coming out. Let me jack her up a little bit. Oh, I forgot my shifter. I put that one bracket on there it's dragging. Let's see if we can get it on out though. Now we're hitting on the motor mount. This is not good. I need it to tilt. Let me see if I can lay it down and tilt it just a little bit. Well, it's actually going to sit there. All right. We'll move her a couple of lengths and see what that does. I think it might come out. Let's try it. Oh, yeah. Well, we got her out. I'm gonna tell you what, to pull that motor and transmission with the fenders and everything here, that would be something to see. I'd say you'd have to pull the cross member out, drop the transmission, and then pull the motor out by itself. Anyway, as you can see, we got lots and lots of holes. There's bunches right here, bunches up here. I'm probably gonna leave this one and this one for wires, and the rest of them we're gonna fill them in. I'd like to know what that big one is there. I might go in and do a little research because we may need some of them. I don't think so, but we might. This heater, I ain't got a clue what's going on right here. I'm gonna pull that out, and well, we're gonna have to redo that because that's garbage is what that is. Anyway, the only way I know to do it is to measure these holes and try to cut me some out with a plasma cutter, put them in there with a magnet on the backside, weld around them, and grind them flat. That's pretty tedious work. I'll show a little bit of it, but not much. But anyway, let me get busy doing that. I guess this is sort of ingenious. I don't know. What they did is ran threaded, I don't know if that's a conduit nipple or what. Ran it through the firewall, and then there's the actual heater hose pipe. This outer stuff is what's holding it onto the firewall. I ain't sure how it's supposed to attach, but we're gonna probably do something a little bit different. Anyway, let me get this off of here. Well, there's a heater. It says Good Rich. Not Good Wrench, but Good Rich. Or it may be Good Rick. I don't know. Maybe some of you older fellers, y'all can tell me about that. But just looking at it, well, I think that's, you know, how it's supposed to be mounted the way it was. That all looks, you know, factory type stuff. Why would you do that, though, instead of just putting, you know, 4 bolts right here? I don't. That's probably how I'm going to mount it. Anyway, got it out of the way. I think what I'm going to do first, if you remember, we got this crack right here. I think I'm going to go ahead and weld it up. And then we'll go to welding up all the small holes that don't need plugs. Then we'll go to worrying about the bigger holes. Well, I got all the small holes welded up and ground down. It's looking pretty good. I tried a couple of bigger holes like this one and this one, that size. And, well, you have to use a lot of weld. It builds it up, and, well, it's aggravating to grind. It takes a while to grind, so feel on that. I'll just cut me some plugs for all these other holes. What I might do, if I can get some help over here, on these ones here, they're small, but they're, you know, too big to just weld up. Get somebody to hold my brass hammer behind it and fill them in. I may do that, but them bigger ones, we'll have to cut some plugs for them. I don't know if y'all noticed, but she cracked over here just like it did over here. So I had to weld that up, and I left a lot of the weld, hopefully, you know, to reinforce it where it won't crack again. I wonder if that's a thing, if they just crack right there. Let me tell you something else, too. This transmission tunnel, well, they made it out of, it's 1/8 inch metal. Trust me, it's heavy duty. And I think this right here is the end of a welding rod sticking out. Well, whatever, you know, whatever you got to do to get the job done, but that's a little bit rough right there. I will be honest with you. You can see through the window there. It's about 11 o'clock Saturday night. I have slept literally just about all day. Tell you fellas, I can't get enough sleep. I just ain't got no energy. Went to town this morning and come back, ate me some lunch, and I passed out. Once I get a bunch of sleep, I seem to be okay for, you know, 3 or 4 hours, and that's basically what I did. About 3 hours worth of work right here. Ain't got a whole lot to show for it either. No, sir. I'll be glad when I get over this to get my energy back. Be glad when this stopped up head stuff is gone. Anyway, y'all don't want to hear about that. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. I'm going to rest all day long. Hopefully, I'll build up enough energy for Monday. We can hit this pretty good lick. See y'all Monday. Today's the next day again. And I've started welding on some of these bigger holes. They're They're about that size right there. They're doing okay with these big ones. I can't do them like that. And it's gonna be hard to cut little disc out like that with a plasma cutter. You need to punch them. I ain't got no way to do that. So I'm gonna wait till I get some help and then hold this brass hammer behind it. I'll weld them up. So I think what I'm gonna do till I get some help, there's lots and lots of little holes in this floorboard, but it's got, I don't know if it's paint or, I don't know what it is. I gotta get that up and out of the way. Then I'm gonna start welding all these little holes, and there's some great big holes over yonder we gotta patch. Let me get this cleaned up and then we'll go to welding these holes. This is not the most fun that I've had, but it is pretty fun. So we'll be glad when we get done with it. A lot of it won't come up. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of paint, sealer. I don't know. I know it's aggravating. I've seen some take dry ice and put it on stuff like this, let it sit for a little bit, and then you hit it with a hammer and it'll pop right off. I ain't got no dry ice though, so I can't try that. Well, I just busted a hole right there, so that's good. She's got a little bit of rust in this rocker. It could use some rockers, but we ain't putting them on right now. Let me clean this out and see what I got. Let's see if we can't scoop this big stuff up with this dustpan. I ain't vacuuming up real good. All right, now maybe we can do a little bit of vacuuming. Well, I got the inside about as clean as I can get. Some of this stuff, it just won't come off. It's really stuck. It's really thick in places too. I'd like to know what that is. It is a gray color. The original color of this car, according to that tag on the cow, is Battleship Gray. So that may be factory paint or something. I don't know. What I want to do just for now, whilst I'm welding up holes, weld all these little holes up. I ain't worried about these rusted spots right now. We might patch them eventually. I want to fill in these great big old holes right here in the firewall though. That one there too. I ain't worried about the interior right now, fellas. I want the mechanics done. I want the thing back on the road, and then we can work on the interior later. Like I said, I'm gonna weld those holes up, whilst I'm welding these up. I got somebody on the way that's gonna hold the hammer behind these holes. I'm gonna try to weld them up. All of them except for maybe this big one. I might have to make me a little patch for it. As soon as it gets here, we'll get them welded up, and once we do that, we're gonna start cleaning this up, wire brushing it, getting it ready for paint. Well, my handy dandy assistant has showed up. He's gonna hold the hammer over these holes. I'm gonna weld them up, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. I think my hammer's getting a little hot, so we're gonna take it outside because it stinks. Let it cool off a little bit. I'll finish these holes up If I talk him into it, I might get him to hold it on some of these holes in here too. Well, I just noticed this hole right here in the top of the firewall. I'm pretty sure that's a bullet hole. Yes, sir. Pretty good size one too. I gotta try to peck it back out a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to weld it up. Well, I got all of these holes welded up with the exception of this big one. I just made this little patch panel here, fixing to weld it in. Then there's 3 or 4 big holes over here where the pedals used to come through. Gotta patch them up. Then we'll start grinding this down flat. Then we'll get the wire brush out on the grinder. Go to wire brushing all of this, getting it ready to paint. That is a whole lot of grinding, it sure is. I was not looking forward to it. I did not enjoy it, but I am glad to have it done. It looks much better now that we ain't got all them holes. Yes, sir, it looks a whole lot better. Let's go inside. Let me show you what we got done in here. I got a few patch panels done in here. I just overlaid them. I didn't try to match the holes because one, they were just crazy holes, and this is gonna be covered up, so I ain't too worried about it. I'm glad to get them done though. They were bothering me, them big old holes. All these little holes in this floorboard, Fooey on welding them up. Yes, sir, there's a bunch here, bunch over yonder. What I plan on doing is either putting caulk in them or seam sealer or something, and that'll be just fine and dandy. Then we'll come back and paint this. I'm not a big fan of the rust converter. I tried it on the old 4-wheelie drive frame, you know, when it did the frame swap. 6 months later, you couldn't tell I'd done anything to it. So I'm not a big fan of it. We'll probably paint this with something. But let me show you this too. Let me get the flashlight over here. See these big old long holes? And then look at that fender over there. And then look at that fender there. See all them holes? Well, all of that is in a perfect line. I think what might have happened is this rear U-joint flew apart on this car at some point, and it ripped all them holes in it. That's pretty wild. Anyway, I'm sure some of you interweb YouTube experts, y'all probably been screaming at your TV for the last few minutes because of the way I'm going about doing this. Well, that's fine, fellers. If you stick around long enough, you will realize that I do stuff the way I want to. It may not be the right way, may not be the conventional way, but it gets the job done. Anyway, I wanted to show y'all this too. Last night, I got to looking for gas tanks. You know, this is a business coupe. And the gas tank, I don't know if it went here in the floorboard or if it went up here, but it went in the back seat, or back seat area. You know, business coupe didn't have back seat. And it's supposed to have a hole here for the filler neck. And I didn't remember seeing one. And the fender over there had the filler neck in it. And that's the other non-business coupe cars. That's where they are. So anyway, I got out here looking today for a filler neck hole, and sure enough, there it is right there. They just patched over it because, you know, they didn't want the gas tank in here. And I'm not sure that I want the gas tank in here either. I may go back with the regular old coupe. It mounts under the frame here. And like I said, the filler net goes through the fender here. That's probably how we're gonna do it. I tell y'all what, fellas, I am out of breath. Woo-wee, I sure am. I think I'm fixing to go in the house, call it a day. Got quite a bit done, and no, it don't look like it, but like I said, this stuff here is just very, very tedious, slow going work. Tomorrow, I want to wire brush all of this, and I'd like to get it painted. We'll see if that happens or not. Well, I got some partages today in the mail. Here is the pulley for the water pump. I don't know if I told y'all I ordered one or not. It's supposed to be 6 5/8. Well, it's actually 6 1/4. How in the world you can get that far off on the measurement? I ain't got a clue. But we'll try that in a second. This here is some partages from my torpedo heater over yonder. She broke down on me a couple of days ago. It ain't real cold, but it's a little chilly, and it's probably gonna get colder this evening. So we'll fix that real quick, and then we'll get working on the car. But let's go see what this looks like on the motor. See all the earls on the floor? That's drain pan. I can't make it stop leaking. That's something we're gonna have to look at. I'm hoping next week we're gonna work on the motor and the transmission a little bit, and that's one thing we got to fix is that earl leak. I don't know if I can fix it drain plug or if I may have to put a new oil pan on it. We'll just have to see. Let's see what this here pulley does. Well, we got plenty of room in there now. Yes, sir. So I think it'll be all right. Let me see if they actually line up. You know how this China stuff is. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, well, we got the pulley problem solved right here. Let's go over here and work on the old heater now. Already got the motor and compressor and all that pulled off from the other day. This heater right here, that's the one we're working on. It's 100,000 BTU, and let me tell you, she puts out some BTUs. This little feller here, I got it out the other day. Well, it's 50,000 BTU, you can see right there. Well, so it says. No, sir, ain't no way. It don't put out nowhere near 50,000 BTUs of heat, and it'll choke you to death. There's something wrong with it. So I'm gonna put it up, and I don't plan on using it anymore. Let's get over here and fix this real quick. For those who don't know, who have never worked on one of these, this is a little compressor. Well, this is the filter housing. Your compressor's down in here. Let me pull this cover off and I'll show you. This little filter right here, I got a new one, I think, in that little repair kit over there. We'll replace it. There's probably one here. This is the intake for it. What is this right here? It don't belong in there. Get out of here. Let me pull this housing off. You'll see the compressor. These are a siphon type heater. You got to have an air compressor for that. Well, there it is right there. I guess you call this a vane pump. I don't know, but you can see it flew apart on me, and well, it just quit pumping. So I bought a repair kit. So let's get all this crap here out. It had been acting up for a while. It would lock up. You turn it on and it wouldn't spin. And I thought it was the capacitor maybe. Well, I think it's this right here. Anyway, get out of here. All right, let me open this here bag, see what we got. Here's that housing. We don't need it, so I'm gonna put it in here. Actually, we may need it because I shoved that screw in there. That's how you adjust the pressure. So, yeah, we'll replace that housing too. I think that's the intake filter. That's another filter. And I'm assuming my compressor parts are in this. Oh yeah. It's got a little retainer type deal there. According to the exploded view, it goes to the motor side, so that's how I'm gonna put it in. These are your vanes. They are curved on either end, so I don't think it matters which way they go. As long as you don't put them like that. Of course, I guess you'll know that when you put it in because it'll be too tall. All right, let me put this housing back on. Just like that right there. Where's my bolts? All right, the filter, I believe goes just like that right there. We'll put our new house ink on. This one is, just a plug. I don't understand the purpose of it. But we'll put her in there. Then, I believe this one goes spring, ball, and then the adjuster. This is what sets your air pressure. I don't have a gauge, so we're just going to sort of guess where it goes. Yes, sir. I think I should have put this in before I put the housing on, but that works pretty good right there. Well, I think that's it. So let us go put this back together, see how it does. Wait a minute. Let me show y'all where I messed up. It just dawned on me. I got the check ball and spring in their backers. This is like a pressure relief. That's how you set the pressure. The ball should go in first, then the spring, and then the little adjuster screw there. So let me get that out and swap it around. Also, I think this may just be a port for a gauge. If I can find a gauge, it looks like probably 1/8 inch pipe thread. If I got a gauge that small, I'll put it in there, but I don't think I do. Anyway, let me get this swapped around. We'll go put it on the heater. Also, let me show you this. This is why I'm putting that new housing on there. I shoved a screw in there because the check ball spring or something was missing or broke. So I just plugged her off, and we've been getting full pressure, and it seems to do pretty good. But anyway, I thought I'd just go ahead and put that on there. All right, I got her back together. If we can turn her on. I got this little thermostat. It just plugs into the wall just like that right there. You can turn it on and off. You can set the thermostat. Let's turn it on, see if she'll fire up. Oh yeah, she just lit. I can tell you right now, I can tell by the way it sounds. I got to do some adjusting on that little adjuster back there, but at least she's running. Let's see if we can warm this shop up and get to working on this whole car. Also, and oh, by the way, just so you know, I got insulation up a few weeks ago right before I got sick. And as you can see, I got 2 walls done as far as getting the metal up. I'm just going to try tomorrow to finish this wall so I can get all this mess put back where it goes, because this really, really bothers me. Yes, sir. Got to insulate the doors. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. And that box right there has got brushes because there's a gap at the top of the door, probably 2 inches wide. Those brushes will close that gap up and stop any air from flowing. That'll help us out a lot more too. Well, I completely forgot. I got to finish welding up these motor mounts. I think it's mostly just across the top. Then we're going to ground off these junky janky radiator mounts, because we're going back with stock radiator in the stock location. And I'm going to ground these wonderful lustrous shock mounts off the frame and down there too. So I don't want them. I ain't real sure, but the tire may hit. Tell you what, let's turn the tire and see if they hit. Well, they don't hit, but I still don't want them on there, so I'm gonna grind them off too. Let me get busy doing that. And I got a little bit of a gap to it. Well, I can't get to nothing with the grinder, so I think we're going to get the plasma cutter. Hopefully I don't cut that bottom A-arm, or actually it's just a plate that the spring rests on, but I don't want to cut it. All right. I already got the amperes cut way down on that plasma cutter. Let's see what she'll do. Time for a big hummer. Woo! All right. There we go. Oh yeah. Let me do the same thing on the other side. Well, let's go ahead and cut this off too. Might as well. Ta-da! Got all the shock mounts and radiator mounts out of the way. I got to grind them welds down, but we got another issue. See this here bracket? It used to be right here. That's where they used to have the steering column mounted to the bottom of it. Well, I went to working it back and forth trying to break that weld, and well, I broke the floorboard instead. Yes, sir. I got the steering column out of the way for now. I'm gonna make me a patch panel. I think I'm just gonna weld it from out here, because if I do it from the inside, that plate that's on the bottom of the steering column, I think it'll be in the way. So let me get that fixed real quick, and then maybe get this ground, and this is getting painted tonight, one way or the other. It sure is. All right. Oh. Well, I got that little piece welded in. It ain't pretty, but it'll have to do. Mainly to block a hole and sort of stiffen that back up a little bit. Once it's painted and the motor's back in, probably won't even never see it. I got to grind these spots, smooth them up, then we'll go to wire wheeling. Well, it appears when I ripped that janky shock mount off, well, I ripped a big hole in the frame there, so I'm gonna weld it up. Plus, I forgot I gotta weld that torch place up right there. I don't think I ripped a hole over here. No, it don't look like it. I just got to grind over here. Let me get this welded up real quick. Let me remind y'all, not a professional job. No, sir. This is backyard butchery. I told y'all there'd be some backyard butchery on this car, and This is it. Yes, sir. My main goal was to knock loose any loose paint, get any rust off, and that's pretty much what I did. I'm only concerned with the firewall right now down here and the inside of the frame and this cross member. I might go ahead and paint the outside of the frame, but A-arm and suspension stuff, we ain't doing that right now because we got a little more work to do on them. I'll tell you about that later on. I gotta let the dust settle in here. I'm gonna sweep this mess up. Then once the dust is gone, I'm gonna wipe her down with some ammonia. We're gonna go to painting. Oh yeah, finally we get to paint her. Whilst I was waiting on my ammonia to dry, we had a minor mishap with the heater over here. Come in here and, well, flames were just shooting out of the front. The fan blade broke. It sure did. I think I got another one somewhere. I'll look at that tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get this painted because it's going to get a little chilly in here pretty quick. With Artiz, she's been sitting there for about an hour and it's still a little tacky. It's kind of chilly in here. We got some shiny spots there and right there, and then we got non-shiny spots. I'm hoping they all end up like the non-shiny. This is a low gloss. I wished I'd went with flat, but it is what it is. Let me remind y'all, this is not a restoration. No, sir. This is to get her back on the road and cruise down the road and have fun with it. My main goal was to cover the holes up in the firewall, and we accomplished that. Like I told you, this is going to be a cruiser. I'm going to have air conditioner on it eventually. I plan on driving this old car quite a bit. Might take some trips in it, you never know. I think we'll end her up right here. Next week, I think we're probably going to do a little bit of stuff to the motor. I got a couple of transmissions here. I'm going to try to make one out of two. We got to tear into that and see what all I need. But you know, we got a little bit more done. I consider what we've done this week as body work. It ain't nothing major, just plugging holes and patching holes in the floor, but it's still body work, and I still hate it. I really do. I got to thinking about this. Got to thinking about dude. He sat there for 20, 25 years. I never touched him. This is why, because you go out there and look at him and see how much body work it needs. It's very discouraging, especially for somebody like me that hates body work. That's why I never worked on it. Well, I finally wised up. I said, get the sucker running and drive it like it is. Who cares what it looks like? Have fun with it. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing with this one. Don't let your project sit there. Start working on it. Get it on the road. And then if you want to paint it and do whatever, well, do that as you drive it and have fun with it. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blurb, blurb.